Aaron White here with White Stock and Produce. Today's video is going to be about beef genetics in a grass-based system. A little background about my herd. 3 years ago, I was able to purchase 12 cow-calf pairs. They were limousine influenced commercial cows. I had them for 2 years, and then last year I was able to purchase 12 cows. 8 of them were purebred black Angus first calf heifers, and then I also purchased 4 commercial cows alongside them. So I was sitting at 20 cows um, in my herd. I also purchased last fall a bull, Tarantese bull. Been pretty excited about him, but I'll kind of talk to you guys about that later on. First thing that you should look for in a cow is frame size, how big the cow is. I personally like a cow that's a frame 4 to 5. There are some people that like a little smaller, and some people like a little bit larger frame cows. Um, it's really what fits on your system. I kind of shared earlier in one of my videos that nature's not about extremes, it's about the average. And so I kind of like look for my cows to be average. I don't want them to be too big or too small. I feel that smaller frame cows, like when you get into frame 3, they're kind of hard to market to the sale barn. You can take them to the market, but you're not going to get a premium for them. They're just too short, and the buyers at the sale barn, they don't want those short cows. I feel that when you go with a medium frame cow, 4 or 5, um, you can still get the premium, and that's basically what they're looking for. Now, when you get into a higher frame cow, it's just a little bit more high maintenance, and I'll kind of go into that later. You can go to your local extension websites, kind of Google frame size, and they kind of tell you the different measurements for the frame size in inches. You can start measuring your cows at 11 months old. I usually measure them at 1 year old. No particular reason. I just like to wait till spring comes around, and where I have a little bit more time, and I measure them at that time. If you are going with the direct marketing, I would say that on a grass-based system, frame 3 to 4 would probably benefit you the most. Um, just for the simple fact you're not looking to take them to the sale barn. Well, me being a beginning farmer, I don't have the clientele, and I got bills to pay, so I need to move those cows quickly and to get the turnover so I can make the payments. Whereas if I didn't have to worry about paying the bills, the bank notes and so forth, then you know I would hold back more cows and then market them directly to the consumer, but that's just not working for me right now. I have been able to do one so far, and I'm hoping to hold 2 or 3 back this year, and kind of feed them out on the pasture, and see where it goes from there. One thing is about feeding them out on pasture, it does take longer. Grain-fed system is a lot quicker. You're feeding them a high carbohydrate diet through the grain, and then that then allows them to um, gain weight faster versus grass. It just takes a little bit, and so you're looking on a grass-based system about 2 years, and that's why I was saying just a second ago that I don't have the money to hold on to those cows. I need to get them out. I got to get them moving through the farm, and so I can make the payments. So um, medium frame, I like to go with. Just it's not extreme. It's average, and that's what you should look for. It's just an average framed cow. The smaller frame score, the plus side is on a smaller frame score, they mature faster, and in maturity wise, they sexually mature faster and physically mature faster. So then you're able to get that cow to get to 1,000 pounds a lot faster than a cow that's you're feeding out to 1,400 pounds. Obviously, 1,000 pounds is going to come quicker than 1,400 pounds. Larger frame cows take a little bit longer to mature, obviously, like I just said. They're higher maintenance. And now, when I say higher maintenance, it takes more money to get them to where they need to be. So when you have a higher maintenance cow, and that could be in the form of high milking ability, larger frame, all those require more feed to keep the body condition up. And when it requires more feed, it requires more money. And so by keeping your frame size down, you kind of keep that that you get a herd that's low maintenance, and that's what you really are looking for. Um, like I was just saying, low milkers, low birth weights. Remember, nature is never extreme. If it is extreme, it fails. Okay, it dies out. It doesn't work. Okay, so it needs to be average. It needs to be um, not to the extremes, right down the middle, just average. Um, Type of breed, I really think that the type of breed doesn't really matter. Um, I think it's more on what you really want. Uh, my Limousin cows are a little bit larger framed, but they do hold their condition a little bit better that I've been seeing lately. They're also older, so they are able to hold that condition a little bit better, but um, they're a little larger frame, like I said, compared to my Angus cows. So I've been really eyeing my Angus cows and kind of finding ones that are average right down the middle through hip size, the frame score, and milking ability, and kind of just watching. And so it really doesn't matter, just what suits your system. Okay, now what do I see over the next 5 years? I see uh, my Limousin cows are getting older. I can see them phasing themselves out on their own through being open at the end of the season. But I also see myself trying to purchase some average cows. Now Angus, they're an average breed um, as far as hip height, frame score. You want to kind of stay away from any breed with the word fancy in front of it. Usually that talks about a larger frame cow, high maintenance. And so I stay away from any cow that's labeled fancy. I just feel that it's just too much work, all right? And I've already got as much work as it is, so I kind of got to have a low maintenance herd. I think that the best thing that you can do is kind of research your breeds. Find a breed that works for you in your system. Um, like I said earlier, I found a Tarantese bull. I've been kind of partial to him. I'm liking the idea of this heavy, or excuse me, high butterfat cow and Tarantese in France have been used for cheese making, and so it has a high butter fat, and so I kind of want to get that into the herd. Uh, Also look around in your local area. What are other farmers using? My area, it's predominantly Limousin and Angus. It's between those two. So when you bring in a new kind of breed, it's kind of hard to keep going with that breed when everyone else around you has something else. But I also will say it kind of raises eyebrows. You know, it kind of makes people interested. What's up with this breed compared to the breed I got? And you can kind of talk to them and kind of just point out the pluses on them. I like to. Another reason why I went with the Tarantese bull was because of he's a continental breed. So when he crosses with my Angus cows, I'll have a high hybrid vigor in the calves, and I'll show you some pictures between the two calves so you can kind of get an idea of the hybrid vigor that he'll put into those cows. Um, Linear measurement. You need to start linear measuring your cows. Now I also referred to you in my first video about Gerald Fry. Gerald Fry has kind of started talking about measuring your cows and kind of finding out, and he has all the measurements that he feels is a low maintenance, high production cow. So you start linear measuring your cows. Cull all the high maintenance cows. So any cow that's in the extreme. So if you want to go with a 5 frame cow and you got a cow that's 6 or 7, get her out. Okay, she's not there. She's going to cost you more money in the long run. Okay, is just basically cull all those high maintenance cows. Through linear measurement, you'll be able to find out which cows are high maintenance. Another one, buy a bull that fits your requirements in the breed, in the genetics. So like I said, I was looking for the heterosis from the Tarantese bull crossing with my Angus cows. That's why I went with the Tarantese. Tarantese are, like I said, a continental breed, but they're a smaller frame continental breed. Unlike a Limousin, which is a larger frame cow, I'm able to cross the two together and not worry about pulling calves in the springtime. Taranteses usually have a lower birth weight as well. So um, look into what you're looking for. You got to really analyze the breed that you're interested in. Kind of pick it apart, all right? And then if you find a bull, talk to the owner if it's for sale, and just pick his brain on his system. Now, if you're going to take a bull and go from a grain-fed system into a grass-fed system, that bull's going to fall apart. He won't be able to last in that type of system. But if you want to find one that mimics yours, so you go from a grass-fed to a grass-fed, that's the best that you can do. If you're going to be looking into a purebred herd, that's kind of expensive. I suggest if you're a beginning farmer to start off with just commercial cows. They're the cheapest, and start to work it in as you go. Another idea is AIing. I know some guys that really like the AI. They get to control kind of what their calves are going to be through the AI process. But I haven't got there yet. I don't know if I'm a big fan of AIing quite yet, but I can see its place. I can see where you can kind of control the breed that you bring in as well, and that's also a lot cheaper than buying a bull. So that's also a positive with AI. You got to watch your cows all the time. Every time I'm out there, I'm looking them over before I leave. I walk amongst them just to kind of get an idea if I spot anything out of the ordinary. Body condition. I look for body condition. Who's maintaining their body condition better than the other cows? All right, and this allows me to see, okay, this cow, she's an average milker and she's maintaining her condition fairly well. So I'm going to kind of watch her over the season and kind of decide, do I want to save the heifers from this calf or so forth. I find I kind of compare calves, between the two and kind of just watch the herd. Some things that I do when I'm doing that is I look for fly numbers. So every time I'm out in the pasture, I don't spray my cows, so they just got a deal. And if the fly is too much stress for them, and then they're open in the fall, they're gone. They're a high maintenance cow. I want to look for a cow that the flies just don't bother. They're naturally tolerant of the flies. The flies just they're not attracted to them. And you'll find those are low maintenance cows as well, believe it or not. I don't pour my cows as well. I kind of wait until I kind of watch them. Now I pour if need be, but I haven't poured for the last 2 years, and I feel that my herd looks great. Seeing the activity in the cow dung through the bugs, that's a positive. A lot of cows that come from a grain-based system, believe it or not, might be resistant. They've just been poured their whole life. So some of the cows that I've gotten have been from grain-based systems, haven't poured them, and I don't see a need to. They haven't shown any signs of parasite overload. So this could also be I've been mob grazing correctly. I've been timing the grazing so that the cows aren't coming across a paddock that's been grazed, a couple days earlier that allowed the parasites to hatch and then be consumed by the cow. So that could be the reason why my cows haven't had problems at all. But I watch it. If I see a cow starting to fail, I make a mental note, write it down in my book, and that fall, she's gone, okay, with her calf. I sell them. I don't keep them around. Right now is the best time to be selling them. The market's sky high. Sell the cow. I mean, you're going to get your money's worth out of her if you've had her for 2 years with, 2 calves and boom, gone. Now's the time to get rid of them. This is a high market. You gotta be cutthroat with who you keep and who you get rid of. Also, I watch the cows and how they graze. So after I turn them into a new paddock, I kind of just monitor them. kind of watching what they're eating and why they're eating certain things. One cow's eating this, one cow's eating that, and then they're both exposed to the exact same plant. One eats it, the other one skips it. Okay, I ask questions. All right, why is this cow skipping that and this cow's eating this same plant that this cow skipped? So I kind of monitor what they graze. Um, I want a cow that will eat everything in front of her. If she's in competition with the other cows through this mob grazing system, she's going to eat everything. Whether it's a weed or whatever, she's going to eat it. If I get a cow that gets a little picky, she might be high maintenance, might need to go. All right, so you gotta be cutthroat um, in how you run your operation. Okay, there's no free ride. All right, I know some farmers, ranchers, they say, all right, I give them one chance, and if they fail a second time, they're gone. Okay, well, I'm a beginning farmer. I don't have the money for it, so they fail the first time, they got to go because I can't have them and maintain them through the winter to then wait a whole nother year for them to have a calf. So that's just an idea to think about. You got to get rid of them. If you keep them and then they have a heifer that next year and you forgot that she didn't calve the year before and you hold that heifer, you're kind of creating a gene pool that could create a problem later on. So the moment they fail you in some way, they got to go. Okay, and that kind of keeps your genetics pure in your herd, and that you can get the highest fertility and the most productive cows in your herd. Next thing with the breed, I'd say choose a breed that's has high marketability. All right, so like I said, look in your area. Depends on your breed in the area, what's popular in your area, and go with that because you know if something ever happens, you can sell that, and get a good price for that cow. Versus if you run a cow or a specific breed that's not popular in your area, like let's say up here in Iowa, Longhorns. Longhorns have their place. I got nothing against Longhorns, but trying to sell a Longhorn is going to be a lot harder than selling Black Angus or a Red Angus or whatever the breed is. You got to look for marketability. Now, the marketability comes through the sale barn, purebred stock, or even direct marketing. And you got to kind of decide what you're going to do. Make a plan. Don't just go, all right, I'm just going to sell them at the sale barn and that's it. Well, you could do that and be successful, but have a plan how you're going to do that. What about heifers? How many heifers are you going to hold back? If you do hold back heifers, are you going to get a new bull every other year? What's your plan with that? You got to have a plan marked down. You start with sale barn, and then you slowly work to direct marketing, selling directly to the consumer. So you got to have a plan down in order to make your business work properly and function well. Everyone's cow herd is typically a grass-based system, and I said that before. They all turn their cows out for the most part in the late spring, early summer on the pasture. They supplement the cows maybe sometimes with grain or silage. Why not just eliminate that altogether and just straight grass-based system? Last time I was around, last time I heard, grass only costs the amount that you rent that land for. I mean, everything else is free. So if you're renting land and then also feeding them grain, I mean, you're having inputs into the system. Whereas grass, I mean, it's from the sun. You're not paying for that. I mean, you're paying to lease the land if you're leasing, but it'll just be a lot easier to turn to a grass-based system. Now, when I say easier, I should say easier in the sense of easier on your wallet. Getting to a grass-based system is a never-ending process, and you'll be consistently trying to make your genetics better. A lot of guys run their cows grass-fed, but then they buy their bull from a grain-based system. It works, it can work, but you got to realize the livestock need to know their type of forage, and they learn that from their parents, right, mom. But if the mama cow and the calf, right, if the mama cow is from a grain-based system, she's not going to know really. She'll know her grass, she'll know the smells of that, but the foraging ability of that cow is going to be a lot less than from a grass-based system, because that cow has been raised in grass, knows exactly what to eat, how to eat, and it's just it's a completely different um, mindset of cow, believe it or not. And I definitely see that with within my herd. My calves are more aggressive at eating than my cows are, and some of my cows are from grain-based systems, and it's kind of cool to see the transition slowly start to work into my herd. When you're looking at a bull, don't mistake fat for muscle. Okay, the bull might look just beautiful, just rippled with muscle and just looks good. You bring them to your system, they eat the grass, and that's all they eat. They don't get that extra supplement, and then they lose that fat, and then you got a small looking bull. All right, now trust me, this happened to me. Um, I don't think you can't really convert a grain-fed bull into a grass-fed bull. It'll take years for that, and when I say years, it's generations. So his offspring can learn that, but he might not necessarily do that. Parents are the best teachers. I mean, we can see that in our lives as humans, but also as animals. And you want a herd that's used to foraging for its food. So if you get to a point where you're able to have a year-round grazing system, you have the cows teaching the calves how to find the food in the snow, and how to do that. So I'm a firm believer in turning your herd system into a grass-based system, just for the simple fact it's all about the money, and it costs a lot of money to buy grain. So when you're looking for cows or first calf heifers or bulls or whatever you're looking for to kind of jumpstart your herd, you got to find a forage-based system. And when I say this, it needs to be a true forage-based system. Now, this takes research, looking at their website, kind of asking around, asking neighbors, talking to other people if they're from your area, and then even doing a farm tour, going to their place and seeing their system set up, and kind of, bouncing ideas. You got to know exactly, because this is a high money investment, and if you're going to be spending $3,000 on a bull, you better know if that bull is from a system that you want it to be from, okay, that you're bringing into your own system. So you got to be analytical, analyze it up and down. If there's any slight thing that you don't like about it, don't get it. There'll be a better one coming, okay? Kind of just take your time. You don't want to jump into it. You want to look for cows and bulls with a lot of gut. And when I say that, you want to, I mean, big round guts, because that means that a true forage-based system, their stomachs are going to be a lot larger than a grain-based system, because those cows in the grain-based system, they only need to eat just a little bit to get what they need to get. And if it's a forage-based system, they got to have a lot of gut to be able to consume the amount that they need in order to get the nutrition that they need. So you want a cow with big guts, okay? And you can simply see that by just looking at them. But then that goes into linear measurement, finding the true cow that has the guts that you want in your system. So the larger rumen, by having the larger gut, the larger rumen gives you more capacity for forage, which then converts to nutrition. So that's what you really want to look for. One last thing I want to kind of talk about is buying locally. You want to buy cows from your area. It doesn't make sense for you to buy a cow from Florida or from Texas and bring them to Iowa, for instance. They're going to freeze to death in the winter. They're not acclimated to life here. They usually say cows, it takes 2 to 3 years at max for a cow's stress level to drop and be used to the system that you run. So that's something you got to keep in mind. When you keep them in the area, and we all know cows can stress out fairly easily. So you keep them from the area. you're not going to have to worry about the weather. They're used to that type of weather, so you really want to get cows from there. You can also look for um, buying from an area that might have a worse uh, weather than you. So, like I'm thinking like Minnesota or South Dakota, North Dakota. I mean, they get fairly hot summers and fairly cold winters, and that's about what Iowa's like. So I'd kind of look over there, but me personally, I like to keep it in Iowa. Shorter distance to drive, and it's right here. I can go drive over there, analyze it, and say yes or no, and it's not a wasted trip. It's only an hour and a half of time away, so that's something to look into. Another thing, I kind of mentioned it earlier about linear measurement. Gerald Fry, he's been really pushing this for people that raise beef to really start measuring their cows. You know, looking for these certain types of measurements like hip height, hip width, uh, just body length, just stuff like that. Circumference of the scrotum for the bulls. I mean, there's a whole deal that you can look into. And I've started linear measuring this spring actually on my bull, and this fall I'm going to measure some of my cows. One of my first calf heifer, a heifer that I held back that will calve this next spring. I'm going to do a linear measurement on her and just kind of see, you know, where we're at with what I've got. His website though is www.bovineengineering.com. And I suggest you go there, check it out, look at what he's got to say, and you know, if it's right down your alley, take his stuff. That's why he's got it there. I mean, you don't post stuff on websites unless you want people to know about it. He does do consultations, but if you don't think it's worth your while, don't worry about it. Okay, maybe you got a better idea, but it's something that you should look into for sure. Um, and remember, always cull the cows that don't fit your system. Get them out. They're just wasting money. Okay, it doesn't make sense if I have a 1,400-pound cow. She doesn't calve. She's going to be eating bales all winter for free on my pocket, out of my pocket, and I'm not going to even get a calf that next spring. I'll have to wait a whole nother year for that calf. So get them gone. And right now is the perfect time to sell them. So anyway, I plan on having a part 2 of beef genetics. This was just a general idea of what to look for. Part 2, part 3, and probably a part 4. I'll kind of start tying in linear measurement into this to kind of give you an idea of what to look for. I hope you take what I got, use it for yourself, and you know, if you got any better ideas or I might have missed something, let me know on the comments, and I can look into it a little bit more, and we can go from there. So, till next time, happy farming, Semper Fi.